again. It is Wing Nation presented by Hercules Tires. Right on our strength. Talking sprint car racing. Our favorite time of the week, and we are so glad that you have joined us. Erin, Evernham, and Steve Post here in the Hercules Tires studios in Concord, North Carolina. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic. What did I see? I see pictures all over of a horse show mom winning ribbons and trophies and plaques. Oh, my.
Yeah, big weekend at the horse show. But I was telling Craig, our producer, before that Kate was actually in tough competition with Lydia Johnson. Lydia Johnson's youngest daughter. Yeah, they swapped first and second, and it was...
Wow, a little battle of the racers here, yeah.
Pretty funny.
Well, let's see. Jimmy might have to call up Chad to work on the horse.
Oh, boy.
And we got Ray working on the horse. We might have things figured out here between that.
Yeah, but I don't think speed is really the key here. So
Well, there's that. Well, technicality, exactly.
Although Kate was really upset when person cut her off, so she cut him back off. We had to sit down and say, "Look, this is about showmanship. This isn't a race."
Yeah,
she can't. It's in her blood.
The old hand out the window with the fist or something like that on the horse, probably.
Yeah, I don't think that goes with the etiquette
on the showmanship.
Equitation.
Yeah. Yes, equitation.
Yes,
is that what it is?
Equitation is one of our classes.
Wow, equitation.
Yeah,
for
things
those of
we
you.
don't do at our dirt tracks.
Absolutely. Yes, there's no equitation. There was no equitation at the sprint car racetracks this weekend. In fact, there was some angst of some kind. We're trying to. Lord knows. There was a lot of angst. We'll get into that in a little bit out of the World of Outlaws with Tanner Carrick getting sent to the pits for the tail tank off. Boy, there's some hacked off people about that.
Yeah.
It's crazy. No, I was in Richmond, got to do the modified race, the NASCAR Wheel and Modifieds. Man, I love that
Me
tour.
too.
I love that race.
And I love watching those.
Those are great racers. I have my overall overriding, I love every kind of race. So I'm fine with it all. And I go to everything. This tonight, I think I'm going to head out to Millbridge, and I think it'll be my 111th or 112th race of the year.
Impressive. And you have a road court or in VIR, aren't you doing some IMSA?
Yeah, I'm working on getting up there to see our boy up there, the what's his name, the sports car or the Trans Am racer,
Ernie,
Ernie Francis Jr. But so I go to see it all. But to me, if you said you could only pick one dirt car and one asphalt car, it'd be the winged 410 sprint car and dirt. And the NASCAR Wheel and Modified.
Agree.
NASCAR Tour Modified on the asphalt. So I got to do that. And then I actually went to Mountain Creek and saw some winged box stocks racing.
Nice.
So I got some wing racing in this weekend. It was fun catching up with all the people there. Talked to L.W. Miller and Kelly Earnhardt Miller. Or is it Miller Earnhardt? How do you do that? You do it
it's
first
Earnhardt
name?
Miller.
It's
Yes.
Earnhardt Miller. So original name goes first.
Yeah,
exactly. Dale Earnhardt's daughter, Kelly, married to L.W. Miller. L.W. was a racer from up in the Northeast, and their son is running these box stocks. Well, they went out to English Creek, and he won a bunch of stuff out there in the Midwest Tour. Then they got to Knoxville, and they actually got to ride in the pace truck for the Nationals. So L.W. was telling me out there, he said, man, that trip to Knoxville, that was a highlight of our summer. I said, well, that's a highlight of all of our summers. Welcome to the sprint car world. A trip to Knoxville in August is the highlight of our summer. Good stuff. So really neat. I love, we got a lot of good things happening here in the Carolinas as we've talked. Well, let's get into our Hefner Racing Products hot topics. And the big one this past weekend was the 54th running of the Tuscarora 50 at the Speed Palace, Port Royal Speedway, the Flow Racing All-Star Circuit of Champions, the Pennsylvania Posse. Started off on Thursday night with Brent Marks getting the win. I like this Friday night, Darren Pittman in the Swindell Speed Labs car.
See him in Victory Lane
Good to see Darren back in Victory Lane. So fun stuff for sure. And on Saturday, Logan Wagner, career first Tuscarora 50 win. Also throughout the course of the weekend, he clinched his 4th track championship. There's so much good about this. The Zemco racing team, just everything good about this. I mean... And it was just a fun race. I mean, Lance had some mechanical issues where the car was faltering a little bit, and Logan took advantage of it and made him pay the price.
Yeah.
And that's mechanical is as big a part of this as driving talent as everything else. And Logan Wagner, they had that baby buttoned up, and that car was rolling. Woo! Saturday night, man, he had and he could go inside, outside.
Yeah.
He could bang
middle,
he was middle, you name it. Tommy Carl had that car just absolutely hooked into that racetrack and a well-deserved win. So Logan's going to join us here on the program. This one here really made, this was neat. IRA Bumper to Bumper Sprint, Cedar Lake Speedway. It's the 21st annual Jerry Richert Memorial. The winner is Brooke Tatnall. It's his 6th win of this race. But, Erin, it's a whole lot more than winning a sprint car race for this one.
It really is. I mean, as we've talked about on the show, that Amy's battling breast cancer, and, to see this is her dad's race.
Right, it's her dad's race, exactly.
And to see Brooke win it and her doing a wing dance.
She was up on the wing, and I'm telling you, yeah, exactly. One of those, woo, man. Yeah. I wish I'd have been able to catch my breath before I scrolled and saw that. Yeah. It's just absolutely amazing. The family aspect of it is so cool. So, and we love Brooke Tatnall, man. Mm-hmm. He's fantastic, isn't he? And Amy, and just wish her continue.
Kids, all of them, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's phenomenal. It really is. Fun stuff, and it was really cool to see him win the Jerry Richert Memorial up at Cedar Lake. World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars, Friday night David Gravel, Saturday Logan Schuhart. We're going to talk to Logan. Boy, I'll tell you what, Tanner Carrick. Oh, we talked about, what's funny about this is we talked about the World of Outlaws rolling out into California and Justin Sanders and Dominic Selzy.
Yeah.
We talked about them. Ironically, it was more Colby Copeland and Tanner Carrick, which is great to see because that is really good depth out there. Tanner Carrick he had not had the mechanical problem, which was controversial because people were all upset about it.
Because people can't
Yes,
themselves.
Exactly. And so he looked like he might have been on the way.
Yeah.
And so, fun stuff. But it turns out that Logan Schuhart and David Gravel are the winners. Logan's going to join us here on the program. Other winners in the shocking news department, they had a sprint car race at Atomic, and Cole Duncan won. In a getting to be less and less shocking news, they had a sprint car race at Sharon, and Dave Blaney won. Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour, they were at I-80. Scott Boguski, it was a points-only show. They ran a different format on Friday night, and Scott Boguski picked up the win. Saturday was a full-blown ASCS National Tour show. Blake Hahn got the win. They're racing tonight. Oh, you kidding me? I am so fired up about that. It's going to be so good to see my friends with the Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour. And I like this one. The Silver Cup was out at Silver Dollar Speedway, but they have a 360 race, the Platinum Cup out there. And one of our buddies, Andy Forsberg, swept the whole thing up now to 57 wins at Silver Dollar Speedway. I mean, that guy can wheel a race car.
He sure can.
I just love with Andy that he's just found his spot. Mm-hmm. His three. If you want to be a 360 racer, you want to be the best 360 racer in America. You cannot claim that until you go to California and beat Andy Forsberg, because he has just found his spot, his place out there with Placerville and with this 360 racing. And I am telling you, the best 360s in the countries in the 360 races in the country can go out there and finish second to him. He's that good.
I agree.
He's so good. God, he's so good.
And he knows those tracks like
he really does. And it's just okay. This is where I'm at, so I'm just going to excel at this.
Yeah.
And I just think I really like that, and I respect that so much. And always like when I see where Andy Forsberg gets another win, and we get to see that frequently. Yes. So again, we continue. One of our themes has been great stuff happening at California, and it looks like more great stuff happening out there. So fun things. More great stuff happening with our friends at Hefner Racing Products as well. They have a website, www.hrpracing.com. And it's easy to shop the entire line of Hefner Racing products from your desktop. You can do it right on your phone.
Yep. First-time online orders use promo code MRN at checkout for 10% off your first order.
All right, we talked a little bit about the Tuscarora 50. Here was the waning laps. They were coming to 3 to go or 2 to go. We're right down to the final stage of this one. Logan Wagner and Lance DeWeese duking it out. Blake Anderson and Earl Hoon with the call on Flow Racing.
And now for the Dryden death-defying move of the week, where one driver simply amazes us with their on-track move. That death-defying move was brought to you by Dryden Diesel All Deaf, the official deaf of the World of Outlaws and wheelmen everywhere. Visit Dryden.com for more information.
For decades, Dryden Lubricants has been made in America and made to last, paving the way on our highways, in our fields, and on the production line. Today, Dryden offers a complete line of engine oils, greases, hydraulic and transmission fluids, and diesel exhaust fluid. If you want greater performance and protection for your critical engines and equipment, go to Dryden.com. Dryden, American owned and operated, and a proud supporter of racing and race fans everywhere. For a year-round high-quality eating experience, look no further than Sage Fruit apples, pears, and cherries. Not only is their produce healthy, but they are grown with such care and precision that you can count on each piece of fruit having exceptional flavor. Sage Fruit, it's our first choice for quick and easy snacking. Absolutely amazing. We've talked about it over the course of time, what is happening at Port Royal Speedway, and then what is happening with the racetrack, with the growth of the racetrack, but what is happening on the racetrack. 4 times now, the Zemco team is atop the championship standings, and I love that. The Zemco team is just, that's as hardcore sprint car racing as there is, and when that Zemco car is at the front of the field, sprint car racing is better. And then they put a big exclamation point on it with the Tuscarora 50 win. The driver of that one joins us on the Dryden hotline. Logan Wagner's on the line. Hello, Logan. Welcome back to Wing Nation. Dude, congratulations. What is it like to win the Tuscarora 50?
It's surreal. It's unbelievable. It's something you put on your calendar at the beginning of the year, and it's something you want to check off your whole life. And you look at the amount of quality cars that have won that race, and you're going up against Lance. You're going up against the best cars, really, in sprint car racing. And a lot of guys can bang the boards. A lot of guys can roll the bottom. And to do it, to get that off your bucket list is something special, and I'm still trying to live the week, live the moment, You
talk about some drivers, banging off the boards, but to win a 50-lap race, you need to manage that 50-lap.
And halfway point, we changed nothing from that halfway point to the next 25. And that's just a testament on how well we're set up and how well that Zemco crew has that car operating.
Wow, not making any changes all night speaks volumes. Logan, I think after the race, I saw where you talked about, earlier in the night you spoke with Lance about dirty air, and I couldn't get from reading these quotes, were you talking a little bit like mind games and telling him, seeing how bad his car was in dirty air, or was it just good to know that going into the race?
Yeah, anytime you're talking with a driver, you got to watch what you say or what you do, and some guys sort of just blurted out there, not Lance, but other guys just blurted out there on what's going on with their car and what's happening. And Lance is very, he chooses his words wisely. So when I had the opportunity to talk to Lance before that 50, I wanted to make a couple points known. I wanted to be vulnerable and tell him, hey, my car's not so good in dirty air, which it was okay, but not great. And I wanted to hear how his car was, because I thought it might come down to that. And he just said, I'm really not great in dirty air. I'm pretty bad. And so I just logged that in my memory, and I knew whenever I got to that point in that feature where we were contending for the win, I remember what he said, and I was sort of watching his car. Oil leak or not, I felt like he's been better in dirty air at Port Royal. So I knew whenever I got to him, I could pull the trigger and get the job done and slide up in front of him and try to take the air off him. And I also knew if I could take the wind off of him getting into 3 and he had to go through my wake, that it was going to make it really difficult for him to stick that corner. And that's what we did. We got that really good run off the top. In 1 and 2, I got up beside him down the backstretch and just drove into 3 as hard as I could and sort of just try to take the wind off his car as much as I could. And ultimately that prevailed to get that win.
Wow. I mean, it's fascinating to hear that. It really, truly is. It's fascinating to hear you talk about that, because ironically, a year ago, we had Lance talking about doing the same thing to Kyle Larson.
Yeah.
Taking the air
Right.
off. I mean, it is such a game, and it's fascinating to do that. Logan, it amazes me that you have the consciousness and the wherewithal, and it's the same thing I've talked to Lance about, that you consciously are able to think about that while managing your own car and looking out the window at lap traffic and everything.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, and going into the night, emotions can take over the best of you. You're running the Tuscarora 50, what you've wanted all year long, and there was sort of a calmness to me. I think I did that Kyle McFadden interview where I was pretty calm and collected my thoughts well and knew exactly what we had to do. And then, we set quick time, which it amps you up. You feel really good about the whole night. Then straight after that, you go from fourth to first in the heat race, which no one was doing. That just speaks volumes on how well the car was working. And then you go and you're sitting on the outside pole, and the race could be yours in the feature. And it's up to you to either win it or lose it. And I stuffed the wall in 3 and 4, and that could have been the race. Or I didn't pressure the top hard enough, maybe early. That could have been the race. Or too hard late. You diagnose the whole race and what you did, and look back and say, I could have done this, or this. But I'm really happy with how well we managed the car, how well the car helped me manage it. And looking back on it, I know Lance had an oil leak. I know he had some unfortunate events happen, but we took charge and we still passed him, and no one else did.
Yeah, absolutely. Logan, when you look at the history of the Zemco car, there's been some of the best sprint car drivers in the world have driven it. How awesome or satisfying or validating is it for you to have the success you're having in that car right now?
Oh, it's so cool. It's 35 years in. I talked with a gentleman there before the race in the 50, and he said, how do you feel about running this car and the notoriously how well it's run over the last 35 years. And I said, you can look at any car in the pit. Not one of them has been here for 35 years. So that's a testament to John and Pee Wee on their dedication to the sport. And to want to still race and want to still be competitive and do what they need to do to be competitive for that long. Just no one has done that in the sport, and no one's doing that in the sport. It's a very cutthroat sport. It'll chew you up and spit you out. It's tough on car owners, tough on drivers, and they've had. I mean, notoriously, they've had Kevin Gobrecht, they've had Stevie Smith, they've had Casey Kane, they've Mark Smith. It's like the list is ever so long, and just even be in the same ballpark as those guys. It's like we won our 4th track championship. Keith Kaufman had hundreds of wins at Port Royal. I don't even know how I'm even in the same conversation as Keith Kaufman with everything he's completed, but somehow we are, and somehow we won the 50. And I feel like we're 4th year strong, and maybe 5th year brings something even cooler or something even better.
You mentioned that. I'll clarify why you're in the conversation with Keith Kaufman. You are a 4-time consecutive champ. The only other time in the history of Port Royal that was done was 78-81 by the man from Mifflintown, by Keith Kaufman. And Logan, we had talked to you earlier this year. You won the Keith Kaufman Classic, and you shared what it was like to share that podium with him that night in winning the Keith Kaufman Classic. I can't imagine what it's like to share the record books with him.
Yeah, it's so sweet, and I think why it's so tough to win 4 in a row or win 3 in a row or 2 is because these people get hurt, drivers get hurt, car owners fade. It's hard to maintain speed and consistency in these race cars with everything changing how they do. And that's really, it comes down to the Zemco team and that they've been doing it for 35 years. They know what to do. They know how to keep the car consistent, how not to drop out of races. For a long time, we had a spree where we were like 12 of 14 shows. We were in the top 5, and they keep the car under me. And that's really how you can go on to win 4 titles. And I know Keith at his time, when he was winning 4 in a row, in all those championships and all those races, he did just that. And that's really what it's all about. But it's so cool to even be in the same conversation as Keith. I mean, when he first started at Port Royal, he was selling milk in the infield and as a kid, and went on to drive race cars and win so many features there and win so many track championships. It's like how the world turns, how the world progresses is so cool.
And now he's one of the big volunteers, and the reason the track just keeps doing what's doing. He's so involved.
Absolutely.
It's amazing. What he does to me now is almost as amazing as what he did on the track, because he doesn't have to do this. Yeah. He's the man from Mifflintown. Yeah. I mean, this place is a shrine to him, and he's out there on a dozer cleaning,
the trophies and glory aren't there, and he's still putting in the passion.
It's just amazing. Final question for you, Logan. You had shared with us earlier this year about the mental game of sprint car racing, the mental game of life, and you had talked about, visualizing what is going to happen and trying to put yourself in all these scenarios, and the greats do that, and you've been able to do that as well. You, I'm sure, visualized winning the Tuscarora 50. How did the real celebration. How did the real Victory Lane podium, the stage, everything feel compared to what you had visualized?
You try to put yourself in that spot, and you try to mentally prepare yourself for that, and you still have to stay calm during those stretches. And it was, you cross. You don't look at the stands. You don't look at the infield all night. You just know what you need to do. And after that 50th lap, I crossed over, and people are on their coolers. The whole infield's on the fence. I look in the stands, and it's going crazy. Complete sellout crowd. And it was more than I could ever expect. And I was doing donuts in 3 and 4, and then I thought, oh man, I need to save my tires. I still need to make the scales. So then I'm, trying to do things to make weight. And it was so surreal. It was, you can't even believe it. It's a lot, you lose words to even describe it. And it really hasn't even settled in yet. But one really cool thing, I've been reading this book called Shoe Dog by Phil Knight. He's the owner of Nike. And he describes like his passion for what he's doing and how he does it. And he looked back on his career and said, one thing he wished he would have done more of was spend time with his 2 boys. And that trumps even anything he could ever done at Nike. And, I look at what I'm doing and how I manage racing, and I don't race really a lot of places. I race Port Royal, and we select other shows, and really trying to just harness time spent with my daughter and embrace the time we can spend together and the races we can win and what we can do together as a family. So more so that than anything, just being able to do it with your family and with the people that love you and surround you in that big cushion and that big support system is really cool.
You're here. Boy, a champion on the track and a champion at the house. Boy, that is, and you're right. Well, far more important than that Tuscarora 50 win. Neat stuff for sure. Logan, congratulations. We wish you the best with the balance of the year, wherever it takes you. And thanks for joining us here on Wing Nation.
Thank you, Erin. Thank you, Steve. Great to have.
There we go. Logan Wagner. Wow.
I love how he ended that. We're talking about this huge win in his career.
And yet, more important than that is his daughter and his family and his wife.
I feel like any successful person in this world or anyone struggles with that balance of family versus career.
No doubt about it. And to read, I have been, this is beyond sprint car racing, but one of the things that has become very clear to me is that there are people doing life better than I am. And again, I'm very content where I'm at. I'm extremely content with where I'm at. But that doesn't mean you stop and you sit and to listen to him. And he had the talk about visualizing, and I've thought about that a lot. And then to say, but he's reading a book about the guy from Nike, Phil Knight, I guess it is, from Nike. And I'm just like, you never are, no matter where you're at.
Always learn.
Always go forward with it. And boy, he's so young, though.
I know. I appreciate he's a deep thinker. Yeah. And he speaks so intelligently as well, not just racing-wise, but life.
Boy, I'll tell you what, he used Lance's tricks on Lance. Talk on Superman cape there. Fun stuff for sure. From one Logan to another, from Wagner to Schuchart. That's what we're doing here on Wing Nation. We'll talk to Logan Schuchart next.
Power isn't born, it's built over time. For over 65 years, Hercules Tires has been providing the muscle to move more drivers. Whatever the vehicle, whatever the terrain. And we back it with a powerful protection plan. So wherever the road or the trail takes you, we have the selection, value, and strength to get you there. Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength.
Just like racing components, Aggressive Hydraulics purpose-builds hydraulic cylinders to perform for customer-specific applications. They design and manufacture mobile-style, single-stage cylinders as well as multi-stage telescopic cylinders. It's a no one-size-fits-all approach with Aggressive Hydraulics. Hydraulic solutions for virtually every industry that uses hydraulic cylinders. They proudly design and manufacture all cylinders in the United States. Check out the video of their story at aggressivehydraulics.com.
Over 200 events from coast to coast, and they're celebrating 30 years of Scattering Soil, the American Sprint Car Series. The world's largest sprint car sanctioning body is bringing more thrills with wing and even more non-wing action in 2021. 11 regional tours, the national tour. No matter where you are, we're coming to a track near you. Can't be there? Get double the streaming fun with Racing Boys and FlowRacing.com, bringing all the adrenaline to your favorite streaming device. See the full lineup of this now at ASCSRacing.com.
the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum, one sprint car place in Knoxville, Iowa, on the famed Marion County Fairgrounds. Erin, one of my favorite spots.
Mine too, especially that store.
Woo, man, I'll tell you what. They're still hauling the Brinks truck from that store down to the local bank after Erin got done in there this summer. Holy cow, she took Kate in there. Boy, Bob Baker walks out into a vacant store. It's like, what happened? They said, well, Kate Evernham was here.
It was
for Kate.
Yeah,
exactly, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm
the horse girl, but
yes.
She does like her sprint cars, though. I'll give her that.
Oh, man, I'll tell you what. Well, that is good. We love to talk about the birthday calendar. Yesterday, the birthday of Frankie Kerr. I just love when I get to talk to Frankie Kerr. Michigan Cup race. He's crew chiefing on BJ McLeod's car.
Mm-hmm.
So in Michigan, I had the chance to talk with him. He is like, listening to him diagnose Kyle Larson is just fascinating because he's a whole lot smarter at sprint car racing than Steve Post is. You know, I mean, that might be breaking news. But this actually goes back. We're not even to our birthday yet, but we're waiting for Logan Schuhart to answer his phone. Okay, so this is called stalling in the radio business. All right. So this goes back to years ago. That first Knoxville Nationals that I did was the one that Schatz went from 21st or 22nd to win.
Yeah.
And I was at the next race. I think that was Michigan again. Ironically, I was at the next race, and Frankie said, "Where was Schatz passing him?" And I said, Frankie, I've never seen anything like it. It's like wherever he caught him.
Yeah. Like
middle of the backstretch, left, by, right, back up in the groove. And Frankie said, what sprint car racers don't realize, he says, or what you have to learn as a sprint car driver is it's all about momentum.
Yeah.
It's all about momentum. And because if you follow that car into turn number 3, you have slowed to his pace.
Mm-hmm.
If you allow that car. And so that's the background of a conversation. And after that conversation, Frankie's just one of my favorite people to talk to because he's so wise.
Yeah.
He just understands it so much. So we're up there talking, and he's like, I forget which one this was after, which Larson won this. Well, it would have been again Knoxville. And he says, this guy, he says, I'm telling you, I've never seen anything like it. No. He says, it is so much so, he said, Frankie, he's laughing. He says, I've changed my pay-per-view habits. I said, you've changed your pay-per-view habits? He says, yeah, it used to be Flow and Dirt Vision. Now it's just wherever Larson's racing, midget car, late model. He said, I cannot even believe what we're seeing.
Yeah.
He said, and then I sit on the pit box here and watch him on this in Michigan or that sort of thing. And Frankie and this is why I love getting to know a guy like Frankie Kerr because this is not some radio guy like me talking. This is a guy that has lived it, done it, breathed it all, been there, done it.
And like you said, follows all of it.
Exactly. And he just is like, I just all I'm about is watching. My whole pay-per-view is all about where's Kyle Larson racing next.
Yeah, well, I actually tuned into the World 100. Never before have I done that.
And I watched the race at
was it last night?
Last night, it was not the Prairie Dirt Classic. That's the big race out there.
Paducah, where were they?
No, it's the great little track right in the town. I've been there before, too. Oh, my gosh, it's the greatest little track.
Fairbury?
Fairbury, Fairbury American Legion Speedway. Yeah, I was there. I'll tell you, I was there. How long ago was I was there? It was the day Jimmy Johnson won his one and only Xfinity Series, or Busch Series race.
Oh, wow.
That's how far ago I was there. So I was at Fairbury. I love that place.
Yeah.
I watched the Dirt Late Model race last night from Fairbury.
I watched my first on pay-per-view
See
Thursday.
That? Exactly. So, I mean, and that's what Larson is like the Pied Piper. Like sprint car fans watch this late model race, and midget fans watch this cup race, and cup fans watch this.
We don't all like to really admit it,
no,
but we're doing it.
I felt, I'm like watching wrestling or listening to country music or watching a late model race. You know what I mean? It's like, except for the ratings are through the roof. You know what I mean? No, it's really neat what's going on. So later this week, Ron Schumann.
Oh.
We talked to him on our MAV TV show and at Knoxville. The Flying Shoe. Sunday, Louis Center and your buddy, Doug Clark. I went over and had a morning breakfast beer with Doug Clark at Knoxville. By gosh, I'm telling you what, we sat in his motor coach and I loved it.
Even when we were in Knoxville for the SRX race, we saw him in the morning on his golf cart with his little cooler. And there he was.
He is the best. Doug has a birthday coming up on Sunday. But today would have been the birthday of a guy named Armin Kruger. He's a 2003 inductee into the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. He was born in 1922. At 11 years old, his father took him to see the big cars at the Milwaukee Mile. And it stuck. Okay? 7 years later, at 18 years old, he wanted to go see the big cars again, and he wanted to go and shoot photos of them. He actually had a permission slip from his parents to go to the race. What a different time we live in now.
Seriously.
You think about that. In 1941, by 1941, he was submitting photos for National Speed Sport News. And over 60 years, he submitted some of the best photography in the world, Speed Sport News, Open Wheel Midwest Racing, and some of his images from the Indianapolis 500 are iconic. He passed away in 2002. This is the beauty and why it is so important what happens out at one sprint car place. We love our drivers. We love our team owners. But somebody during all of those years had to hook that kid reading National Speed Sport News that I want to go see the Indy 500, or I want to go see a sprint car race, or I want to go see the midgets or the big cars or whatever he's taking a picture of. And it's through pictures like Armin Kruger did that told those stories. And he is forever enshrined at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. That is why the building is so important. It is great that Steve and Sammy and all of those people are there. But it is also great because we can mention guys like Armin Kruger, a 2003 inductee into the Sprint Car Hall of Fame. And you better go quick if you want to see the Greg Hodnett display. Erin, they're getting ready to close that thing down.
I know, October 1st, and it features 8 of his actual cars, plus testing and engineering equipment, uniforms, helmets, and other memorabilia.
There we go. SprintCarHof.com or SprintCarHall.com, SprintCarHall.com or Sprint Car Stuff. Stay with us. More Wing Nation coming up in just a moment. Sunoco is a proud partner of Wing Nation. Not all fuels are created equal, so fill up with Sunoco Ultratech. Sunoco Ultratech is a top-tier detergent gasoline that is proven to make your engine run cleaner, longer, and more efficiently. Using the same detergent package as what is blended into some of Sunoco's high-performance race fuels, you can trust Ultratech for your everyday race. Whether you're headed to the track or just hitting the road, fill up with Sunoco Ultratech and fuel your best. Flow Racing is the home of grassroots racing with over 1,300 races streaming live in 2021. Watch the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl, World 100, Dirt Late Model Dreams, Sweet 16, and much, much more. Subscribe today by going to flowracing.com/MRN. From sprint cars on dirt to SK Modifieds on pavement, arena cross, drag racing, and everything in between, it's here live and on demand. Subscribe today by going to flowracing.com/MRN. That's FLOracing.com/MRN.
Circle B Diecast is the new diecast outlet from Plan B Sales. What started as Lionel and Chase Authentics apparel distributor has grown into the largest distributor of diecast and now includes Auto World, Greenlight Collectibles, Brand Art, Sam Bass Artwork, and University of Racing lines. They have a huge inventory. The folks at Circle B Diecast love racing and support drivers like Kyle Larson, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Christopher Bell, and many others with sponsorships and partnerships. And on orders over $20, use promo code MRN for free shipping. Check them out, circlebdiecast.com.
I had so much fun during the Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour Speed Week and got to talk to so many neat people. Matt Covington, one of them. Matt is our guest coming up later this week on our television show. But I say that just the Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour has so many neat things. Okay, so I've already been on Twitter today, lighting things up.
Oh, yeah?
Because tonight they are racing at the Clay County Fair. Yes, it's on the fairgrounds.
Oh, you love some fair races.
I love some fair races. So I've already said, everyone's like, well, we're not Port Royal. Well, Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour and fans, you can send us on our Twitter machine some pictures of fair food and cars in front of Ferris wheels if it's laid out that way. I love this. And I love this. This is the battle for the blue ribbon.
I like that.
Isn't that cool? That's a cool name.
Especially at the fair.
Yes, at the fair. So it is the Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour at the Clay County Fairgrounds, Clay County Fairgrounds Speedway. It's the first time the tour has raced there. It is the fair week, so there should be fair food. I know those scrawny little guys like Blake Hahn and those guys like that probably don't do any, but somebody on the crew is going to go get a funnel cake.
Maybe our friend Ashley is submitting an apple pie too.
Well, yeah. Well, don't tell Ashley about that because she could probably get an apple pie there by now and win that and ruin everything out there like she ruins everything in Juniata County. The poor old ladies that make the apple pies. They hate that she moved back. And you think about that. The ladies, they've been making apple pies for years. And she moves away to North Carolina, and she moves back, and she puts them back into second place.
Well, hey, when you're good, you're good.
Well, tell you what. So, but anyhow.
But wait, we never got any apple pies when she lived here.
That's exactly why I'm not happy about it.
All right, I'm not happy either. Then.
I'm not happy either. And despite the fact that I told everyone to stop with the fair food pictures, that just meant that I have 30 pictures of the Lutheran church stand meals.
Can I ask about? They put that much pepper on?
No, that's Wanda Dietrich puts that much pepper on.
It was more than her.
Well,
I saw
there was
a few
someone
pictures.
else that did it. They got into that.
And I was like, that looks fantastic, but that is a lot of pepper.
You talk about going down a rabbit hole, okay, which we're kind of doing right now, as a matter of fact. But anyhow, Wanda had a picture of it with all that pepper on there, and the next thing you know, there was a big debate on my Twitter feed about how much pepper you put on food. I'm like,
but then I saw like 3 other photos
there's other people
with
that
lots
had a
of
lot of pepper too.
So I felt like maybe I'm missing out.
What if the restrictor plate on the shaker might have been a little? Yeah, exactly.
Or maybe that's how you really need to prep it. I don't know.
But so I want to see, and I'm going to be very disappointed if I don't see fair food or carnival rides or something with sprint cars on our Twitter tonight. There's the Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour. Now, the rest of us, we're going to have to follow along via racingboys.com or Flow Racing. But I want to see more of it because... Well,
you didn't want to see any fair food.
Well, no, those
Port
people up there.
Now you want to see fair food from Iowa.
Those people up there are just showing off.
Okay,
now,
so
I want
this
to see
isn't
if someone else can do it. I want to see, this is totally different. Totally different. Right. They're posse fans.
Trying to figure it out.
You know how they are. You know how those posse fans are. You know, they've got it better than anybody on the planet, and they're not afraid to show you or tell you.
Kind of like Ashley and her pie.
That's like Ashley and her pie, exactly. That's where I'm going this weekend, too. I got a great weekend. I got bats.
And then you're going to be one of them.
Well, I've got to, if you can't beat them, join them. So, except for I may go up and sniff around that Lutheran church stand and see if there's any crumbs left after the fair. Now, I got Bats on Thursday night, Williams Grove on Friday, and the fabulous Lincoln Speedway on Saturday. I cannot wait. Cannot wait. It's Dirt Classic weekend up there. So we appreciate Logan Wagner joining us. We would hope to catch up with Logan Schuhart. That's apparently not going to happen. West Coast is difficult.
Yeah.
We always, when we do a West Coast driver, we're like, fingers crossed, fingers crossed. And so I hate we missed Logan.
Sorry,
Schuhart.
Bill will be on him for this.
Oh yeah, well,
he's
going to be. I don't feel good for Logan Schuhart when word gets to Bill. That's it. So anyhow, coming up, this is going to be great. Our Thursday podcast, Jason Hutchins joins us. Okay, who is Jason Hutchins? He is the reigning track champion at Capital Speedway. What is Capital Speedway, you say? A racetrack in Willow, Alaska. We're going to talk 360 sprint car racing in Alaska with Jason Hutchins. How about that?
I'm looking forward.
That's going to be fun, that's for sure. And mentioned this just a bit ago, coming up on Wing Nation, our television program presented by Sage Fruit, Matt Covington. Woo, we already recorded that one. What a conversation. That old boy ain't scared to talk, and he could be a stand-up comedian if this racing thing doesn't work out for him. Thanks again to Logan Wagner for joining us. More important than all of that, though, thank you for joining us here on Wing Nation, presented by Hercules Tires.